Hey guys, this is Scott from Throughout the Girl Podcast, and welcome to another edition of ReWatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Today I'm going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 7, The Hub. Alright guys, so as I do every week, I'm going to give you just a quick IMDb plot summary for this episode so you know what I'm talking about. Then I'm going to just talk about some of the bits of foreshadowing I noticed in this episode, followed by my general thoughts about the episode. Alright guys, so let's just dive right in and start with the IMDb plot summary, which says Coulson and his team arrive at a base called the S.H.I.E.L.D. Hub and are given an assignment by its director, Agent Victoria Hand. The assignment calls for Warden Fitz to head to South Odysseus, I don't know how to say that word, and disable a weapon device called the Overkill. Skype and Simmons try to find out more information about the mission since they're not privy to details about the mission, which has been classified as Level 8. Simmons manages to tranquilize Agent Jasper S.h.i.e.L.D., who catches her in the act of hacking into the top secret Level 8 files. Skye deduces from the information that there is no extraction team going to pick up Warden Fitz, as Coulson learns about this upon catching her. After a talk with Victoria Hand, Coulson and the team proceed to rescue Warden Fitz, who managed to also disable the Overkill device, as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents move in on the compound to do what they do. So S.H.I.E.L.D. did find out that the person, or Coulson, I'm sorry, I've got mixed up what I was saying. Coulson did find out that the person who brought Skye to the orphanage when she was young was as yet unidentified S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. In the final scene, we see Coulson wanting to find out more about his recuperation, not resurrection. His recuperation in Tahiti. He is denied access to Level 8 information despite his high-level S.H.I.E.L.D. clearance. As the person he calls about it asks if you'd like to get approval from Agent S.H.I.E.L.D. From Nick Fury about it, Coulson declines and hangs up. Alright guys, so that's the IMDb plot summary. The reason I made sure to read that out is because you can see there's a few different things that happen that point to the foreshadowing I was speaking of, along with a few like connections to the bigger MCU. We get Agent S.h.i.e.L.D. as you guys see. He's been in a few of the MCU movies, and we find out eventually he's a Hydra guy. So that's a cool little thing to see, like going back and seeing, you can kind of, you don't know, I can't say you get that vibe from him, but you do. It's cool that you get to see that he was, pretending to be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, even though now in hindsight we know he was Hydra the whole time. So some other things that were cool was the Victoria Hand cameo. I believe she comes back in a few different episodes throughout the season. I don't exactly remember what her significance is, but I know there's something. She's got something. I don't know if she's like part Hydra or she's part of the ones that aren't Hydra when they end up that happening. I don't remember exactly, guys, but you should let me know in the comments below what her importance is, because I can't remember at all. Anyways, some other pieces of foreshadowing I just liked and I thought that were cool in this one was the mention of Skye learning a little bit more about how she ended up at the orphanage. But we also see something I didn't read in the IMDb plot summary, is that Coulson and May know a little bit more than they let on, and that they're still looking into what happened with Skye and Skye's parents and how she ended up at the orphanage and being an orphan, and etc., etc. I guess she's not really an orphan, but we only know that in hindsight. Anyways, that was a cool little bit more teasing. I like that they don't just jump right into it, give you too much information in these early episodes of the season. They keep teasing you keeping you along for the whole season, so that you have to piece this puzzle about Skye together slowly throughout, and I really enjoy that. Some other stuff we had was Fitz going out on a mission, being a badass. We see and Simmons being a badass, tranquilizing Agent S.h.i.e.L.D. We see them starting to branch out, get out their lab nerd kind of personas and start to evolve into those badasses that we see in later seasons, like when Simmons gets trapped on an alien planet and when Fitz has to travel to the future. We're seeing the little bits of them starting to head that direction. They're still not fully comfortable, and they're not at that level yet, but you're seeing the little things you can see how they build to those characters eventually through these early seasons, and I really like that, especially with Fitz and Simmons. They're two of my favorites in this. How can you not love them? They're just adorable. You also kind of see them starting to hint more and more that they're more than just friends. They're kind of realizing through these last few episodes that they mean more to each other than either of them are willing to admit yet, because they're both just like that, which I like about the show. I like that kind of, that little will they, won't they, which I normally hate, but with these two, it's so adorable. It's hard not to enjoy it. So I really like that little bit of foreshadowing. And the last little thing I had was, again, Coulson looking into more about S.h.i.e.L.D. and how he was like resurrected and recuperated, and like how long he was dead, because we learned in the last episode he thinks he was dead a lot longer than they've been telling him. He believes he went over to the other side. He knows he went over to the other side, and they did something to bring him back, and he just doesn't feel like himself yet. And I love that they keep teasing that through this season. I love every time I rewatch this first season, which it's been a few years, which is why I'm rewatching it now, but every time I rewatch this first season, rediscovering that mystery along with Coulson, because I always forget it a little bit. Like, I know the basics, some alien stuff that worked on his brain, yada yada, but I like learning the little relearning the details of it throughout rewatching it, and that's probably the last little bit of foreshadowing that I had written down, and probably my favorite bit of foreshadowing in this episode. My general overall thoughts is, I really enjoyed this episode again. I always enjoy all the episodes, of course. But this one episode I particularly liked. It was one of those ones that was kind of like both connected and not connected, because it was connected because we got to all these ties to the MCU with Agent S.h.i.e.L.D. and Agent Victoria Hand, like with those different connections and learning the different things about the past. But at the same time, it wasn't something that it was just a one-off mission where we got to see like Ward in action. We got to see Fitz get a little action in there. He kicked somebody in the face. He was making friends with Russian mobsters or whatever. It was good. It was enjoyable. I liked it. And I like these types of episodes, the ones that you get to like learn a little bit more about each of the characters, and they each get their own little things to do. Like, 'cause none of the characters were sitting around that much except for May. May didn't really do much till the end, but she was there. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for this episode of ReWatching Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Let me know in the comments below anything I might have missed for foreshadowing, or just your general thoughts about this episode in general, guys. Thanks again for joining me. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the Forgot to Grow Up podcast on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. There's links down in the description below for those. But thanks for like the third time for joining me today. Have a good rest of your day.